Ooh, I should have set up the predictions as well. You know what? I'm gonna try and do so. There's not gonna be a lot of time to get your predictions in, but I will try my best. Start predictions. Start predictions. Here we go. Hold on. I won't be too much longer here. Yeah, we'll give you 5 minutes. Boom. There you go. You have 5 minutes to set up your predictions. Who is going to come out on top in this best of 3 series? And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the North American representative hailing from the land of Canada, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. He is blue, representing the CranKy Ducklings. No bias. It is Erik. Oh boy. And this is going to be Erik's toughest opponent yet. TriGGeR. He has won many of a Battle of the Americas in the past. I say many. I think TriGGeR's won 2, maybe 3 Battle of the Americas. Battle of the Americas is a weekly tournament, by the way, and this is what it's all about. It's all about North America versus Latin America. It does typically happen in the finals just because of how the tournament is set up. This is the ideal scenario right now. The North versus the South. Who comes out on top here? For those wondering, we do typically have players like Special and Sham sign up as well, Nina, Pili Pili, Vindicta, but this week, I imagine because of TSL, the signups were a little bit lower than usual. That's why we have double elimination today. Usually it's just single elim, but because we had, I believe, 9 players in total, they did go for a double elimination format instead. But next week we should go back to our usual single elim format. Boy. And regardless, even though we don't have a large quantity of players this week, we have the quality, and that's what it's all about here. As we do see, TriGGeR is going for a Stargate opening. It was immediately scouted by Erik as he did dive in with that Overlord, so he knows to be ready for whether it's a Void Ray or an Oracle first. Meanwhile, this is something that Erik has been playing around with a lot. If you've been following my cast with Erik, I bring this up a couple of times recently over the past week or so. Erik has been practicing with delayed gas openings against Protoss. Ooh. As this adept is actually able to get oh my god, 2 drone kills even. Ay. Nice value there for the adept. But yeah, if you're wondering, still no gas. Typically, Erik, he delays the gases until around the 4 minute 20 mark, and then he takes both of his gases. With this, he gets faster queens, faster third base, he drones up. It's a bit of a greedier opening, but so far he has had success with it. He hasn't really been punished for it. A way to punish this, of course, is with something like Glaive Adepts, just to scout this as a Protoss and be very aggressive as a response, because there's barely anything to defend, only queens. But so far, he is getting away with it, and there we go. The gases are now finally taken. Meanwhile, it was a Void Ray first, followed by the Oracle. Right now, Erik actually doesn't know about the Oracle because the Overlords have been taken out by this Void Ray. So for all he knows, it's second Void Ray or, you know, this Oracle. It looks like the Oracle will go past this Ling, though, as Erik will spot it. And hopefully he sets up a defense, because again, he's been so greedy this game. No spores, only queens. Which you can get away with this as long as your queens are in position, right? So you can get away with not going for a spore like this, and immediately, oh my god, a lot of damage gets dealt to this Oracle. God, the position just on point here for Erik. Again, despite not having a spore, He defends. Thankfully, he still makes the spores. Thankfully. Just in case. As Erik dives in, ooh, gets one drone, but again, takes a lot of hull damage. Ay. Meanwhile, Erik taking this 4th base, getting away with it as well. Again, his greed, his opener has paid off for Erik. Meanwhile, TriGGeR is looking to try and deny this 4th base as he sends his Void Rays across the map. The Queens are not in position. This 4th base will be forced to be cancelled. Oof. I was a little bit concerned there for a moment that it was going to be a kill, but it was a cancel. TriGGeR does at least get that, and ooh, interesting. TriGGeR, off of this double Stargate Void Ray opening, he is going into Disruptors, which makes a lot of sense. So ideally, going into Disruptors like this, it protects you against Roach Ravager Queen all-ins. It's so difficult to split Roach Ravager Queens, so Disruptors are the ideal unit for that. Meanwhile, ooh, the Oracle gives up his life. 7 drones. Honestly, worth it. As in the end, only 1 Adept and 1 Oracle have gone down for 10 drones. So it's a bit of a give and take. Nice economic damage, but that does mean that you have limited scouting. The Oracle, you can use it in other ways, right? You can dive in, you can use your Revelation, you can scout a lot of what the Zerg is going for. So Erik does give that up, but again, kind of well worth it when it comes to that trade. Meanwhile, TriGGeR is doing Protoss things. You know, he has Disruptors to defend in case there was a Queen push across the map, and he is going straight into Fleet Beacon, straight into that Sky Toss. Meanwhile, Erik is meeting him in kind. Erik didn't go for an all-in, instead he went for a Spire to get into those Corruptors. +1 fire attacking melee starts. I may have spoken too soon when it comes to Corruptors. There are players that go for Mutas first and try and dive on top of those Void Rays and then get into a mineral line. You can pull that off, but yeah, due to the fact that there are no Mutas on the way right now, it should be Corruptors. Oh no, never mind, it's Mutas. Never mind. So yes, the goal of these Mutas is 1, for the Spire to go unscouted, 2, there aren't that many Void Rays. 5 Void Rays can be overwhelmed and overpowered by a good amount of Mutas. On top of that, the Mutas can just avoid the Void Rays and go straight into mineral lines and just eviscerate them. Again, there's very little to defend, say the natural or even the main. I say that there's a cannon and a shield battery. It's gonna be hard to get much damage done in these mineral lines, not gonna lie. I like the play from Erik, but I feel like TriGGeR is reading the situation very well right now, and I mean, it just gets spotted by the probe. Ooh, here come the Mutas, but look at all this stacked defense. Like, the Mutas are gonna do nothing. Oh my god. This is disastrous for Erik. Like, this is... Mutas are so expensive. This is so much gas. This could have been in Corruptors. And he needs to make something happen. And there we go. The Nidus gets thrown down. Erik, he's going for it, mate. He's going to send his Queens across the map. 4 Queens being produced at a time. 10 Queens in total. This is a bit of a Hail Mary play. He needs to make something happen with this. If he doesn't, he's going to be out of game 1. Here we go. Nidus goes up. Nidus has been revealed. We do have a response. This is the problem, though. We have Disruptors. How good are the Purification Novas going to be? Oh no. Immediately forces a cancel because of the threat of the Disruptors. Disruptors go off. One decent connection, and so will the Nidus. Meanwhile, Mutas are trying to find a way into the main base. They dive on top of the Void Rays. The shield batteries were not in position there. So 2 Void Rays do immediately go down. A third about to go down as well. Meanwhile, oh, actually, the Nidus was taken out throughout all of that. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought it was going to finish up. But at least the Mutas have done something, right? At least they have taken down some of these Void Rays. Problem is, carrier count is getting higher and higher. Disruptor count is still there as well. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Erik. Erik is maxed out, but not with the most ideal army. Again, anti-air is basically just Queens. Oh boy, here we go. TriGGeR, he does find the army. Disruptions go up. Oh my god, 4 queens immediately go down. And with that, the mutas are trying to find some more damage here at the third base, but they're wasting so much time trying to kill the cannons. And to be fair, they have to, right? Since they do take out one cannon, they take out another Void Ray. But TriGGeR knows he just needs to send these carriers across the map. And what can Erik do to stop these carriers? Nothing, mate. There's queens. There's 13 queens. And we've seen how good disruptor shots can be. To be fair, there are a lot of links, so those disruptors are under threat. The links, they get on top of the disruptors immediately. And the disruptors will go down, and now the queens can go toe-to-toe with the carriers. They don't have to worry about splitting. Oh my god, but there's just so much DPS here. Queen after queen being focused down by the carriers, and there's just not enough. I mean, there are mutas, sure. I mean, the interceptors, they're going down, to be fair. I have to give the queens credit. Meanwhile, the mutas, they dive on top of one of the carriers. One carrier finally goes down. Maybe a second. No, never mind. Almost a second. And this is the scary thing about carriers. If you don't stop them early on, they just get into that Protoss death ball, that Protoss Skytoss death ball, if you will. And all these queens are going to go down. They do not have enough energy for transfuse. The corruptors were just a little bit too late. To be fair, there are a lot of corruptors now, and there are enough to one-shot. Yo, there's no support for the carriers. 3 carriers get picked off. Nicely done there by Erik. I think the most important thing is that Erik, I believe, for the most part, was able to keep his economy intact. I say that, but look at the worker count. He's got 70 drones right now. It's not the worst, to be fair. He actually wants to hunt down those carriers. And without Void Rays and without Archons, these carriers are so vulnerable. Oh my god, the corruptors, they come in, but the mothership comes out just in time. Minus 400, sure, but that was good enough to buy enough time for the carriers to dish out the damage and force and to take down enough corruptors where there just aren't enough corruptors to contend with this. The mama ship, it did its job. For now, I'm still waiting for the Archons, by the way. Like, pure carrier is so vulnerable to just mass corruptor. You need support for this. You need Void Rays, you need Archons, you need High Templar with Storm, anything. Meanwhile, we see a little bit of a Zealot run by here over at the 4th base. Sorry, I guess 5th base of Erik. A lot of drones go down. Meanwhile, another Zealot run by here at the 4th. Ay. This is the only small ground army here for Erik, so he just has to go back and forth to try and deal with these run-bys. More lost mining time, more drones going down. Erik, he's struggling right now. And TriGGeR is starting to round out his army a little bit more. Mothership's on the way. Tempest's on the way. We have a couple of Void Rays as well, and 4 Void Rays with Prismatic Alignment, they do a lot against Corruptors, let me tell you. Because of the finesse that's being added to this army of TriGGeR, what Erik needs are Vipers. And here we go, 3 Vipers are out. What's important? TriGGeR has neglected High Templar. Without High Templar, there's no feedbacks. As soon as I say that, 2 High Templar get warped in. Ooh, and there are the feedbacks. Oh my god. Feedbacks are just so juicy, mate, as all 3 Vipers get picked off. Ay. And at this stage of the game, as Zealots are in the fresh bases of Erik, now that there are High Templar, earlier TriGGeR was being a little bit greedy when it came to his army composition, but he is really rounding out his army quite nicely. And because of that, I don't see how Erik can do it from here. It's just not happening, mate. Earlier when it was pure carrier, sure, but now with Archons and Void Rays and Storm and High Templar with feedback, it's just not looking good for the Brazilian Zerg player. It's not good. what's a way to come back from this? So if Erik had the resources for it, Ultras, there we go. Yo, Erik with that 2-minute foresight. Bearing in mind, there's a 2-minute delay on the stream. But yes, Ultras would help a lot. The problem is that I just don't think Erik has the resources to max out it with the correct army. So if you're wondering, the role of the Ultras are to get on top of these High Templar. Ultras are so tanky, they don't care about the Interceptors or the Void Rays. They get on top of the High Templar, they clean them up, and then the Vipers can get the Abducts off, and the Parasitic Bombs off as well. So Erik recognizes this, but I just really question whether Erik will have enough time to create enough Ultras to make this work. Here we go, as the Viper comes in. Ooh, immediately goes down. Mothership will get picked off. I guess that's something. Ooh, and even though the Ultra Cavern's done, Ultras aren't on the way. Kindness Plating, as well as Ultra Speed. Like, these upgrades, they take time, they take resources. And these Zealot run-bys, they just keep doing so much. More drones going down, more lost mining time. Erik just doesn't have a bank to work with. He has a gas bank, sure. And to be fair, right now, the role of the Ultras are being taken by these Lings. But there are Archons. Oh god. Oof. Meanwhile, yo, the boys are back in town. We have a probe run by here towards the north. They're all gonna go down, but really, that's never a sign you want to see. That is a sign of a Protoss player refining his army, realizing he doesn't need probes, he just needs more carriers. Oh boy. And now, TriGGeR, he is deep in creep. Well, not even, he's in creep. Feedbacks on the Viper. There's no Viper remaining. Erik, he's going in for one last thrust. Storms are blanketing the entire army. The Corruptors are doing a very good job at focusing down all of the carriers, and somehow, some way, without Vipers, without any of the spellcasters, it was just barely not enough. Oh my god, Erik, I thought he had it. I thought he did it. He took down all the carriers. He took down all the High Templar. Almost all the Tempests. With just Corruptor. And Ravager. That was pretty impressive, to be honest. But, I mean, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much. Oh, interesting. Muta switch. Is that the right call here? Maybe. Depending on how he uses the mutas. If he starts skirting around the bases and like harassing, I could see that work. Nah, the mothership's back though. And Archons are being morphed in. Oh my god, the Biles, they do get some juicy connections though. They do connect with the main Protoss army. But the Archons, oh my god, it only takes a couple of volleys and all the mutas go down. GG gets called and TriGGeR takes game number 1. Oh my god, what's been happening in the chat? I do believe it's some sort of insult. It's not an insult. Not at all, mate. Not at all. Meanwhile, I see some Brazilians in the chat. Shout out to Pedro. Pedro in the chat. Oh, with that Cosmos sub. Meanwhile, as I quickly check in, ooh, Skylar is currently going up against Ryu there in the lower brackets. In a best of 3, not a best of 1. And yeah, TriGGeR versus Erik, where two titans collide, two titans from their respective scenes. Again, Erik wasted a lot of resources going for the initial mutas, if you recall. It happened a while ago. That was a decently long game. But those mutas did nothing, mate. TriGGeR was ready for them. He had cannons, he had shield batteries, like the mutas really struggled to find much damage at all. Then from there he transitioned into the Nidus. The Niduses didn't really do anything either. Like, a very rough start from Erik. In the end, he did end up in a really like well-rounded army, but he really stumbled getting there. And we will see. We will see how this series goes, and if we will even go to that ace match that's spawning in at the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE. We have the Canadian Protoss. He is red, representing Alpha X. Up 1-0 in the series, needs one more. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg. He's blue, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. He needs your support in the chat, people. He needs to win not just 1, but 2 games in a row to take this entire series. Can he do it? Of course he can. Of course he can. But you know, some decision making mistakes there. Oh my god, mate, we have a cannon rush. TriGGeR, dirty. As he shows up with this probe. It is a gate forge, by the way, so it's not a committed cannon rush. It's a quote-unquote macro cannon rush. The point of this is just to deny the natural and delay the natural. That's all. That's the only purpose this serves. As he walls off, gonna be throwing down a cannon nicely. And we will see if Erik is forced to cancel his base. He should be, by the way, as ooh, another cannon gets thrown down. And yep, there we go. Forces to cancel. And both casters were taken. Oh my god. Oh my god. We have a Roach Warren. I feel like this is a misread. Oh no. So again, TriGGeR is going to be expanding at home. He's going to be chilling. Cybercore is on the way. Going for a very fast roach response like this. We'll see how this goes, as oh my god, TriGGeR even throws the pylon down on the high ground. Ooh, he's committing to the contain just because of the response. Oh my, okay. I dig it. A very nice transition here from TriGGeR, opting not to expand, instead just doubles down, going for the Stargate, going for the Void Rays. And I really worry here for Erik. He does have a couple of roaches on the way. He has a queen on the way as well, but by the time the roaches and the queens come out, like the Stargate's already going to be done. Oh no. TriGGeR going full Protoss on Erik right now. Roaches are out. A Void Ray's on the way. What is there to stop the Void Ray? There's going to be 2 queens. It's going to be 2 queens, mate. 2 queens against a Void Ray with shield batteries. I don't know, mate. Queen already taking a lot of damage. Void Ray shows up. Queen goes down. Oh, okay. I was worried there, but the queen did go down, and now the Void Ray can regen all of its shields. Spine is under threat. A second queen shows up. That will definitely dish out a lot of damage, but now here comes the second Void Ray. Oh boy, and there we go, the queen falls. Thankfully, oh my god, the queen actually survived long enough for the spores to finish up. And these spores are going to be huge here in the defense. Problem is, there hasn't just been a death when it comes to the Void Rays. Both Void Rays have just stood strong here. Oh my god, but maybe I spoke too soon. The Void Ray! No! He stood and he fought when he should have ran. Oh my god, the other Void Ray! Please! It's gonna get picked off! TriGGeR with the miss micro, losing 2 Void Rays needlessly. He could have 3 Void Rays right now. Ay, ay, ay. Things are going well here for Erik. Like, they're not amazing, to be fair. Like, it's well is maybe the wrong word there. It's things are going okay. It's not the worst. Oh boy, oh boy. Meanwhile, this queen over here at the natural base is going to go down as well. The Void Ray just going ham. More Void Rays are on the way. I mean, thankfully, TriGGeR lost 2 Void Rays. I mean, thankfully for Erik, I should say. Like, he can kind of come back from this. Biles will be able to take down some of the stack defense. Some of the shield batteries and the cannons. Gonna be able to take down a couple more. The queen count is getting higher and higher. I believe there's enough energy. Is there a transfuse available? Oh, just barely. Oh. Oh boy, oh boy. And I'm not too sure if there are going to be enough Void Rays here. Like, again, just because the Void Ray count was reset earlier, and the queen count is getting higher and higher, and there's plenty of energy for transfuse, it looks like Erik is getting the better trade time after time. Like, he's slowly pushing this back. There's another shield battery falls. God, but here we go, 2 more Void Rays finally show up with the power of 4 Void Rays. And now this is a 5 Void Rays. Oh my god, this is a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, it looks like a gas will be taken out. Mate, this is a scary Void Ray count. I don't know, mate. Especially because Erik is on 1 base. Like, I guess he's kind of mining off of 2 bases here, kind of, but it's all about the transfuse. It's all about the micro. As another Void Ray almost goes down. Once again, TriGGeR almost overextending. More bios are connecting. Ooh, with the shield battery, not the Void Rays. Again, it looks like Erik is kind of slowly pushing back. It's so hard to call how this is going. Like, I'm really struggling here. It all comes down to the control. What I will say is that also TriGGeR is missing an opportunity to transition. He could have thrown down a fleet beacon earlier to get some Tempest out and to shell away at this army from afar. But he just hasn't done so. He's sticking with pure Void Ray, and to be fair, it's kind of working for him. Oh boy, as the Void Rays are focusing down queen after queen. These queens, by the way, they have run out of energy. There's gonna be enough energy for maybe 1 transfuse soon, But like these Void Rays, I feel like it's been a while since one of them have gone down. Since one of them's died. God, they're just immortal in this. They're just immortal right now. Like the shield batteries are doing such a good job at keeping all of these alive. Ay, ay, ay. And slowly over time, like these Void Rays are just faring so much better here. Especially because there's no follow-up from Erik. Like there's no Nidus to go across the map. Oh boy. And just bearing in mind that this is all off of one Stargate, by the way. That's the disgusting thing about this. That's just, oh, it's awful, mate. It's awful. This Erik, he just wants to retake his natural. He's trying. Meanwhile, 2 Void Rays are off, just taking down the quote-unquote natural base of Erik. Erik gonna be down to 2 hatcheries. And oh god, another queen gets picked off again. Like Erik has been so good with his transfuses, but he just doesn't have enough queens. He just doesn't have enough money. He's actually supply blocked right now. Ay, 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 as we do see. Oh my god, the Bile's still not finding any connections here. Nice transfuse on that Spore, but that Spore, it's so close to going down. There we go, it does get topped up. Oh my god. There's some nice Biles from Erik, but he just can't find any connections. Meanwhile, these Void Rays, they've been scouring the map looking for Overlords, actually. They found a couple, they did force that supply block. Meanwhile, more Biles are going down here. Oh my god, yo, hold up. If this Stargate goes down, I didn't even realize it was within Bile range. Mate, oh my god, that changes everything. If Erik had realized that sooner, he probably could have started chipping away at that much earlier. Oh my god, with that 0 production here for TriGGeR. But he's taking another base. Backup Stargates on the way. I just don't know how Erik pushes down his ramp. That's the thing I'm worried about. To be fair, like, there's no more Void Rays. Like, he did stop the production of Void Rays, I should say, for a little bit. So maybe he can find an opportunity here. Yo, there's plenty of energy for transfuse as well. We could see a world where Erik does try to push down this ramp. At the same time, Lair is finally on the way. I believe this has to be for a Nidus. There is an Overlord across the map. Could force a recall. I don't know how that Overlord did get across the map, but it did. Power to him. Was able to avoid the Golden Armada. Meanwhile, how's everyone in the chat doing? How's everyone? This is so silly and un-StarCraft. Mate, this is peak StarCraft. What are you on about? This is some oh my god. This is some peak NA StarCraft is what we're having right now. It's all about the Biles, the transfuses, the Void Rays. I still think that we should have seen a Fleet Beacon, by the way, much sooner. I'm quite disappointed that we didn't see a Fleet Beacon. I feel like if we did, TriGGeR would be having a much easier time right now. TriGGeR turned this game into Warcraft 3. Meanwhile, here we go, the night is, yo, TriGGeR, that 2-minute delay, finally! Fleet Beacon! Jesus Christ, it took so long. He could have thrown it down 5 minutes ago. God damn. There we go, we do have that Nidus. Well, the Ravagers, they do go across that. They're going to be looking to push into the natural base. TriGGeR, what is his response? Splits up his Void Rays. Doesn't recall. Pretty interesting. Ooh, actually just sends everything across the map. This is scary because if he focuses down these Niduses first, the Nidus goes down. But the second Nidus does come up. All the queens do make it just barely in time. How the turns have tabled. Now the Void Rays are going to be forced to fight without the support of the shield batteries or the cannons. Looks like the Nexus could go down. And again, this is the ideal scenario for Erik. He's even throwing down spores. Let's go. As the Nexus does go down, finally Erik has broken free. He avoids this entire situation entirely. TriGGeR is trying to push on forward. The transfuses are pretty good, but a couple of queens still fall. What's important though is that the spores have finally finished up. They can slowly siege and unsiege, root and unroot, slowly inch their way forward. Oh, meanwhile, he has to be careful not to expose that Nidus. That Nidus will kind of strand him out on the map. Meanwhile, TriGGeR with another ninja base. Oh god. And what I love is that Erik did throw down an infestation pit earlier, and now, yo, infestors are on the way, and infestors would change everything here. I'm just surprised that even though we had a fleet beacon, nothing was made from it. It wasn't used at all. Oh, meanwhile, another queen went down. Oh god, the Void Ray count. Oh my god. He's feeling confident, mate. Another spore goes down at the cost of a Void Ray. Not really too sure what the plan of these drones are, as god, things are starting to look from bad to worse for Erik. Losing both spores, without those spores as an anchor point, eventually TriGGeR will just overwhelm this. He's mining through the Nidus. Oh my god. But I think this is the beginning of the end. A nice fungal avoids a lot of the biles though, and every single queen is gonna go down despite all the damage that was done to the Void Rays. Oh! Biles do connect with one Void Ray, but it's not enough. GG gets called. It was almost perfect. The biles with the fungal. You could see a scenario where that happened. But TriGGeR was able to respond and split just barely in time. And in the end, TriGGeR will take the series 2-0.